All right, we're going to call the meeting to order, the Board of County Road Commissioners of the County of Kalamazoo for our March 10th, 3 p.m. meeting. First item on the agenda is the public comment guidelines. Ms. Ryder, please.
This meeting is being provided under Act 267 of the Public Acts of 1976 as amended, or commonly referred to as the Open Meetings Act. During public comment, participants will have the opportunity to address the board at the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the meeting for non-agenda items. Public comments should be provided at the podium in order to ensure proper audio. Public comments, statements, or questions shall be limited to not more than 3 minutes for each person addressing the board. To provide public comment by Zoom, use the raise hand feature in the Zoom application. The host will ask you to unmute. For telephone audio, use *9. Use *6 to toggle back and forth between mute and unmute. As you participate in the meeting, your microphone will be placed on mute. The chat feature shall only be used to address any technical issues for public participation.
Very good. If you could please join me and rise if you're able to for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The goal of the Board of County Road Commissioners of the County of Kalamazoo is using our expertise, energy, and funds to provide the safest and most convenient road system possible and to contribute to the economic development and high quality of life throughout the county. Our goal is to maintain a county road system that is safe and convenient for public travel and to manage the roadside environment with a view towards preservation. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. A motion would be in order.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Davis with support to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any comment on the agenda from the audience here in the building or online? Hearing none. Or commissioners, any questions about the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next is the approval of the minutes of the February 24th, 2026 board meeting. A motion would be in order.
So moved, Thompson. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Thompson with support to approve the minutes as presented. Is there any corrections, additions, or deletions from the audience here in the building or online or commissioners? Vice Chair.
I caught one little typo. First paragraph, it referenced our meeting to February 10. I believe our administrator corrected that to the 24th, February 24, as they were titled, February 24. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep, as of 12:59 p.m. That's been corrected. Any other corrections, additions, or deletions, commissioners? If not, all in favor of approving the minutes as corrected, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next is the approval of the payroll and vendor accounts. We have a payroll of $209,261.43 and vendor accounts of $549,135.48. A motion would be in order.
Motion to approve the
Second.
approval of payroll accounts.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Davis with support to approve the payroll and vendor accounts. Is there any questions about the payroll and vendor accounts from the audience here in the building or online or commissioners? Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the payroll and vendor accounts say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next is public comment on non-agenda items. This is an opportunity for the public to speak to the Road Commission about non-agenda items. You have 3 minutes. Just state your name and move forward. Anybody here in the audience? There'll be another opportunity later. Commissioner Gisler.
Thank you, Chair. I'm John Gisler. I'm a county commissioner, and my district consists of 5 of the 15 rural townships in the county. So I'm not wearing boots today, but I should be. The farms are near and dear to me. I have three things to say today, and I think I've said them all before, but since they're out in front of us, I figure I'll be back probably one more time to remind everybody that there will be Office of Emergency Management training for both elected and appointed officials. That includes trustees at the various levels that may have been appointed, not necessarily elected. You guys obviously, have been appointed, so any of you are welcome to get there. And it has to do with, I guess they're gonna cover a lot of the things that we wish we had just done a week or two ago for the folks in Union City and Three Rivers, who got hit by tornadoes. I'm sure that's gonna be part of what they'll cover. Anyway, they're gonna have two sessions, one on April 1st at the Ashtimo Fire Department on 6th Street. And that's a different Ashtimo Fire Department than I'm aware of, but you guys probably know well that it's there. And there'll also be a duplicate session on April 15th at the Expo Center. And there's no reason you can't attend both. If you're like me, a slow study, and maybe you need two passes at it. Excuse me. Then another training session is going to be on April 18, and this is by the National Weather Service. I think I mentioned some time ago that they were looking at the possibility of expanding the Skywarn volunteer ranks. There's something like 400,000 and change Skywarn trained people in the country. And we are looking for new people to come on board. They got to take the 2-hour training session from the National Weather Service. It doesn't cost you anything for the training, but you don't get paid to be a Skywarn volunteer either. And that's going to happen, pardon me, at the Red Cross on April 18th, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And that's the only training that will be offered for a year. So if you got any idea of getting to become a Skywarn volunteer, please do it then. The last thing I'll mention is that there's a move on the county level to put a new millage in front of the voters. My guess is you couldn't do it until at least August now, maybe November. And that's to put a millage for child care on the books. And my position is we are going to spend somewhere with all the grants and everything else that we accumulate during the course of a year, the county's going to spend somewhere just shy of $500 million. If we can't find 4 or 5 million to put into childcare, then we're not paying attention. We should be finding it somewhere in there in the existing budgets and not trying to put a new millage through. So I'll be in a minority, no doubt, but I'll make a stink over it if I can. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the times for the two emergency management. What were those times?
You observant son of a gun. I didn't mention those.
Okay.
3 o'clock to 4:30.
Thank you.
Yes. Andy, did you have a question too?
Yes, the Red Cross office, is that the one on South Street downtown? Is that where you're?
I believe it is. I think that's the only Red Cross.
No,
office.
there's one on,
Out on the west side.
yes, west side of town and it's
I do know.
State, Michigan Avenue and just west of, or just, yeah, just
East.
west of 9th Street.
Yes.
Yeah, yep.
When I'm back next time, I
Okay.
won't maybe bring a map, but I'll know where it's located specifically. I'm not familiar with the Red Cross operation here.
And I think I have one more question, Commissioner Kennedy.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and for the information. So can you explain to me what the April 18th training? I don't know what that is. So if you could just give me a minute.
Well, I didn't know anything about
Skywarn or-
Skywarn until 6 or 8 months ago. And we thought they were going to have the session maybe late last year, but the National Weather Service runs this program and it trains for 2 hours people that you don't have to go anywhere. It's just when there's ugly weather afoot, step out your front door or your back door or whatever and take a look. And if you see something weird, report it to a National Weather Service
Okay.
phone line.
Okay.
It's strictly volunteer, and I was surprised to learn that there are over 400,000 already Skywarn trained in the country, and they're looking specifically for people in the boondocks. They're not looking for anybody in the heart of a city, although if you live in a city, by all means, get training and become a Skywarn volunteer there too. But they're primarily seeking rural folk.
Okay, thank you.
Point of clarity.
Sure.
So a practical place that hits most people's lives is that you'll hear like a tornado warning will go up. Well, tornado warnings are only issued when they verify there's a funnel on the ground and where there's a funnel has been sighted, and those sightings can only be verified if you've had this sort of training. So that's the kind of people that they're relying on to supplement other information to get hands-on, eye on the ground kind of information on people.
So often all we get is a radar report from the news, the weather stations, and they will tell you this is all verified by radar. Nobody's actually seen it yet.
Yeah.
And this is going to hopefully close the gap on that, and people will be able to say, you may show something, but I actually see it. And for heaven's sakes, get underground or in the center of the house or do whatever you need to do to be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good.
Thanks for the good questions.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Thank
And
you.
just to build off that, many communities don't have sirens, so it's even more important. Backing up to the Office of Emergency Management Training for elected officials, I did request to the Office of Emergency Management that the road commissioners be invited to those trainings. But it sounds like those emails have not been sent, so I'll follow up with them to make sure you guys are invited to those two trainings. So thank you, Commissioner Gitzler, for bringing that up.
So
Yep, Commissioner Kennedy.
Is that the April 1st and
Yep.
April 15th?
Correct.
For those that are saying, okay, thank you.
Yep, and as far as the Skywarn training, I actually went through the training over 10 years ago over at Lakeview Schools in Battle Creek. So it's very interesting, good training, and I highly recommend it as well. So. All right. Any other public comment on non-agenda items? Anyone online who would like to speak on non-agenda items? All right, seeing no one, there will be another opportunity later in the meeting to speak on non-agenda items. All right, this will take us into new business. First item of business is item A, request approval of bid 2026-03 traffic signal communications and mast arm installation. Managing Director.
All right, so this particular bid is really stemmed from an accident, a crash back on August 17th of 2025 at the location of 9th Street and Stadium Drive, where there was significant damage to our traffic signal mast arm, along with all the equipment associated with it, which included push buttons, the traffic signal heads, the video detection equipment, was all damaged in that southeast quadrant of the intersection. Currently, there's actually a temporary traffic signal in place operating in that location that was provided by Severance Electric shortly after the crash. So with that, we do have just one bidder for both the repairs for this location, along with we have a second location where our team has identified an area we need to make some improvements to an intersection, and it's actually just down the road here, right on the corner of Sprinkle and N Avenue, and that would be eastbound N Avenue and Sprinkle heading north. If you take a peek there behind the curb, there's a handhole there that the lid is missing on. We can't keep the lid on it. Truck traffic keeps cutting the corner, breaking the lid, and it falls down inside the handhole. And then right behind that is the mast arm, just right adjacent to the road. So this was an opportunity to make some improvements at this intersection as part of this bid also. So the second portion of this bid would move that mast arm further away from the edge of the road and then relocate that handhole also, so truck traffic wouldn't be damaging it. Back to the repairs at Stadium and 9th Street, those costs were in our CIP for replacement this year at $212,400. The bid came in at $175,342, so there's a little bit of a savings there, approximately $37,000. And then the second location here at N Avenue and Sprinkle would be drawn from our routine maintenance budget. That total amount is $36,984. As I mentioned before, Severance Electric is our sole bidder for this project or these projects. So with that, we recommend the board award the traffic signal communication and mast arm installation bid number 2026-03 to Severance Electric. Sole bidder meeting specifications for a total of $212,326.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Support. We have a motion by Commissioner Thompson with support to approve the bid 2026. We will get into discussion shortly. Is there any discussion on this motion from the audience here in the room or online? Commissioners, questions? Commissioner Thompson.
Just curiosity, the accident that caused it, did we ever recoup any money from the insurance company?
We attempt to, no guarantees. We are working on this one currently, and I hired me through our liability pool to assist us. We have recouped a small portion of the funds, I believe, more so for the temporary traffic signal. So we will be going after the full amount, but there's no guarantee that we'll ever get it, but we're going to attempt to.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis.
What's our track record in terms of recouping losses from accidents at these, of these types of?
I didn't get the first part of that.
What is our track record of recovery for these types of incidents?
I'm going to let Jim Hookster, our assistant county engineer, help here because this is really an area he works in specifically. But yeah, there's no guarantees. I'm curious as to,
First, if it's to make sure we find out who did it, and then we go from there.
And then they have insurance.
Yeah, Jim Hoekster, Assistant County Engineer. We've been through these similar situations before, believe it or not. Last one was at 9th Street in Seafield. We had a driver heading southbound, had some sort of medical condition, swerved off the road, took out the pole there in front of the Walmart. So unfortunately, the same area. If memory serves, I think we try to recoup as much as we can, but ultimately we negotiate with them to get the most we can. In my history, I don't believe we've ever fully got 100%. Somewhere between 50 and 80% would be my guess of what we recoup. I think right now we're still trying to recoup some of the cost on this one, even for the temporary. I think we've gotten some maybe, but not all. So it's about on par with what we normally see.
And I'm asking, this is the first time I've seen this since I've, sat in this chair. So, and how frequently do we see, incidents like this?
These kind of accidents, I think I've seen 3 in maybe the past 8 years, 9 years. So I'd say it's 1 every 3 years-ish.
So not frequent.
Not frequent. We certainly don't hold these kind of items in our shop, in our yard as inventory. Poles like this are highly specific to the location. So yeah, it's kind of one of these things. It's a major maintenance item when these get hit, and we hope that it rarely happens. It's very destructive when they are. Very unpleasant for all involved, including the motorist and the maintenance staff trying to deal with these after the fact. So,
all right, thank you.
Vice Chair.
Just expanding that a little, these are traffic signals, high cost items. We get kind of ordinary things. I happen to live and drive frequent Ravine and 12.
Yeah.
I see the signs down there again a day, which is almost like every 2 weeks or every month. Do we recover on minor signs at all from those type of crashes?
we have never recovered on minor signs. Usually by the time you figure the crew is going to go out there and replace these, it would probably take $100 to $250. So by the time you try to collect on that, you have a beer 10 point. If you have the accident report, which happens to have the insurance on file for the driver, if there's a police report,
Right.
yeah, there's a lot of ifs there. So by the time you try to do that for $150, $200, maybe it's not worth it. But something like this, certainly.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Very good. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Managing Director. Any other discussion on item A, Commissioner? Hearing none, all in favor of approving bid number 2026-03 traffic signal communications and mast arm installation, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next is item B, request approval of the Asphalt Distributors purchase. Managing Director.
All right, so I'm gonna back up a ways because we've come quite the ways away from where we started with the intent originally this year to rebid our asphalt emulsion. That the bid was expired. There was numerous extensions over the years, so we were in a position we had to rebid asphalt emulsion, which is really the major cost in our chip seal program, the most expensive part of it. So we rebid that asphalt emulsion early this year, and we ended up with two bidders with significantly high bids. I give it some background back at our February 10th board meeting related to this, but really what that caused is some challenges both operationally and for the procurement, simply because with our two bidders, our high bidder, which typically has been our low bidder for many years, their parent company was the supplier of a couple asphalt distributors for our operations. And then with their new bid in 2026, they were very specific to say that they wouldn't spray any other vendor's emulsion. So now we had a very high bid, and we were limited to who we could use to apply it. So with all that being said, our team went to work trying to figure out ways that we could work around this and really also looking for a long-term solution where we can get away from being dependent upon a contractor, especially if the contractor would limit the usage of their equipment to other vendors. So with that, again, our team went to work, come up with some ideas. And one of the short-term solutions I really wanted to share with the board was we did find some asphalt distributors to rent. Quite a ways away. They're in North Dakota. They're brand new units, but we are unable to find a distributor similar size to ours. But we were able to locate some smaller ones where we could actually rent two and get the work done one distributor for a very similar cost. So short-term solution would be to rent those two distributors, and specifically for our chip seal operation, along with using the one that we have today. So with that handles the application for this year, which allowed us to rebid the emulsion. So we re-advertised the emulsion bid 2 weeks ago. We opened the bids this morning, and we have some unofficial numbers today, but we went from basically a 13% increase in emulsion from 2025 to 2026 to a 6.5% decrease. So our numbers are much better on the emulsion side. It's actually less than we estimated. So great job again with the team looking at different options for that. So we are all set for this year for chip seal. The one piece that we're still missing though for this year is fog seal. We don't have a distributor fog seal. So we continued to look around. We did find a brand new unit. This is actually the same size as the units we are renting. We found a new unit for sale here at our local dealership here in Michigan. It's actually being built as we speak, and it hasn't been sold. So that is actually the first part of our recommendation today would be to purchase this distributor for our fog seal operations for 2026 and moving forward. The second part of our long-term solution would be to also place an order for a large distributor, which is the 3,500 gallon model. That unit actually would not be available until 2027. So we'd have to order it now. It would be built early next year, available for next season. And that would allow us to no longer rent two smaller distributors. And we can just run two larger ones with two operators versus three distributors with three operators in the future. A little bit of details on these two units. The smaller unit Again, very similar to what we're renting. It has a smaller spray bar, but ideal for our fog seal operations, simply because we don't apply a lot of gallons with that operation. The larger distributor would be pretty much mirror what we have today, so a 24-foot variable width machine. It would be Green Star ready, which means it's available. It has the option of adding automated section control, which is something that the Road Commission of Kalamazoo County worked with Wsna, the manufacturer, to put in our other distributor. So that option is available today for that technology. And then I also wanted to share just some costs related to what we were spending previously with contractors versus where we're at today. So in our fog seal operations last year, the Road Commission spent a little over $80,000 to hire a distributor to fog seal for us. So with that, we're looking at reducing that cost by approximately 20-25% by putting our own person in our own distributor. Also on the larger distributor that we would use for chip seal. Last year we spent $143,000 with that contractor. And again, we're looking at least a 25, if not a 30% reduction in cost to purchase the unit and put our own person in the future. As far as availability of our team, that's always been a concern and a partial reason why we've used a lot of contractors with chip seal. There was a point in time where we were less than 20 road maintenance operators and we needed contractors to assist us, but today we are almost fully staffed at 29. So we have plenty of staff to operate this additional equipment. Also on the budget side, I just wanted to share with the board, because neither one of these units are currently in our budget for either 26 or 27. So in 2026, we would only be purchasing the 2,000 gallon asphalt distributor for $358,147. And those funds would actually be a savings that we had on our primary and local road projects from 2025. So we have an increased fund balance from some savings last year that we're just now realizing. So there will be a budget amendment number 1 coming up here probably in the next few weeks, if not month, to accommodate that. And then the other distributor, the large distributor, it's just under $500,000, $495,128. We would actually have to include that in our 2027 budget. So we'll have to do some shuffling of other equipment to be able to fit that in, but staff feels it's a priority to get that unit in place so we don't continue to rent 2 smaller units in the future. So with that, we recommend the board approve the purchase of one Wsna flat topper 2000 asphalt distributor from AIS Construction Equipment Company, utilizing the My Deal purchasing program for $358,147 to be delivered and paid for in May of 2026, and the purchase of one Wsna Sentinel 2 3,500 gallon asphalt distributor from AIS Construction Equipment Corporation through the My Deal purchasing program again for $495,128 to be delivered and paid for in March of 2027. And I'd be happy to take any questions. We also have our Assistant General Superintendent Rusty McLean and Road Maintenance Road Maintenance Superintendent Joe Peck here to help answer any questions.
We'll start with the motion.
Motion to approve.
Is there support?
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Davis with support to approve item B. Questions from the audience first. We'll start there here in the building or online. Hearing none. Commissioner questions. Commissioner Davis.
Question about financial disbursements for the purchase, particularly of the 3,500 gallon asphalt for the half mil. Are we going to have to put anything down before the March 2027 dateline for the payment? Is there a down payment we need to make and signing on contract with these folks?
There's not, we'll have to generate a purchase order for them,
Okay, thank you.
and that'll be sufficient.
Commissioner Kennedy.
So, and I'm sorry, it's just because I'm new to this part. So do you have persons that are trained to, so is it gonna be an additional cost to train someone to be able to work this equipment? And, I'm just kind of wondering if there's an additional, monies that we are not seeing that are involved in this cost.
Sure, good question. What's interesting is we're continually training, right? And we're actually sending, are we sending 3 road maintenance operators and a superintendent to the Admire factory next month, April? Yes, okay. For some additional training. We typically do this every year. Chip seal is a very large part of our summer program. So a lot of spinning, a lot of turning wheels with this type of operation that takes a lot of skill to be able to operate this equipment along with the technology that comes along with it. So we are continuously training. We have also, as part of our collective bargaining agreement, created a new classification as of the first of the year that would include this piece of equipment. So there's some training for a few more of our road maintenance staff coming up here shortly. We do have enough staff currently trained to operate the equipment, but yet just looking for backups. And then with this new classification, there's new opportunities for more of our team to get trained to operate the equipment in the future. So there is a huge investment, but there is. But currently, we are staffed to be able to operate it without any additional training.
Okay, or additional monies?
But we are spending additional money though for additional training,
I know.
just so we have some backups.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Vice Chair. Pleased to hear about the rebid and more favorable pricing. So that's good news. The rebid is with, part of that was how the seal coat would get applied, or fog seal was, if I'm recalling it right. We had to hire someone to place the seal material.
Yeah, let me back up to the board just to make it a little more clear. So our first emulsion bid this year, we bid the asphalt emulsion material itself, which is the liquid AC, but we also bid application. And Commissioner Steyer, I think that's what you're referencing. And we only received 1 bid, and we typically only do receive 1 bid for the application. But because of the cost of the application and our requirements of our policy, we must bid it. So we bid it along with the emulsion. And typically that same vendor's been a low bid for many years, and it's not been a concern. But this year they were the high bidder, but they're also the only bidder for the application. So that's when we got in a situation where we had to look at purchasing our own equipment. Does that make sense?
Okay, so this is following up to how it's applied, meaning doing it in-house versus.
Correct. And our rebid was only for the material. We did not rebid the application.
Okay, that clarified it right there. Okay. Good, and I think we also approved a tanker kind of truck to hold material.
We did, and I believe it's being delivered tomorrow, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Good, and staff supporting it, seeing a big picture reduction, 25% plus. That's good news. I've always appreciated how staff has looked at capital improvements for equipment and laying it out multiple years. This is coming about kind of rapid order, and you're working out how to fit it in. So thanks for those efforts.
Other questions? I'll just add that, I think this is a good move. I'm always a big supporter of bringing stuff in-house. And I think with the road funding deal, the last one we got in 2015, we saw an opportunity, like, let's get a building built, and we did. And I think this is the same thing. Let's get some big item purchases while we got the money to do so. So thank you for everyone's work on this. All right. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of approving item B, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next is item C, request approval of the Kalamazoo Township local road contract. Managing Director.
All right, this is our typical local road contract. This one is for Kalamazoo Township. I just wanted to point out there has been some commissioner involvement in a service request related to drainage on Westwood Drive. So with that being said, there is a project included in this contract to line an existing culvert. Actually, it's a storm sewer pipe that is in our easement, but underneath a garage.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
I just wanted to share that that was included. I appreciate everybody's participation, including Kalamazoo Township, and making that happen. So with that, we recommend the board approve the Kalamazoo Township local road contract for the chair's signature.
Okay, a motion would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
Support. We have a motion by Commissioner Thompson with support to approve the Kalamazoo Township local road contract. Is there any discussion amongst the audience here in the building or online? Seeing none. Commissioner, questions, comments? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the Kalamazoo Township local road contract, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next is item D, request approval of the Ross Township local road contract. Managing Director.
All right, again, our typical local road contract, this one with Ross Township. I will say Ross Township, in recent years has had a township-wide special assessment. It's now expired, but significant investment in the road system up that way. So a lot of these projects you'll see as part of this contract are primarily preventive type projects with crack fill and chip seal applications. So with that, we recommend the board approve the Ross Township local road contract for the chair's signature.
So moved. Is there support?
Support Thompson.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Stayhauer with support to approve the Ross Township local road contract. Is there any discussion amongst the audience here in the building about this contract or online? Hearing none. Commissioners, comments, questions? Here, Vice Chair.
Overall, not specific here, but I see our townships continuing to invest a lot of funds, so very much appreciated. It's a good partnership approach. Thank you.
Very good. Hearing no other questions or comments, all in favor of approving the Ross Township local road contract, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next is item E, request approval of the Wakeshma Township local road contract. Managing Director.
All right, so Wakeshma Township has a current road millage. I believe it's 2 mills currently, so significant investment in the roads down in Wakeshma Township. So with that, we recommend the board approve the Wakeshma Township local road contract for the chair's signature.
All right, a motion would be in order.
I'll do that motion, Thompson.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Thompson with support to approve the Wakeshma Township local road contract. Is there any discussion amongst the audience here in the building on this contract or online? Provide online, no comment. Our commissioners, comments, questions? Vice Chair.
It's just good we highlight that the township, in addition to matching par funds, is doing, in this case, an extra 113,000. So thank you very much. Good for the local roads in Wakeshma.
Very good. Hearing no other questions or comments from commissioners, all in favor of approving the Wakeshma Township local road contract, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Just want to say thank you to Supervisor Gatman and all the support he's given us over the many years. All right, that'll take us to public comment on non-agenda items. This is a second opportunity for the public to speak on non-agenda items for the Road Commission. Anyone here in the building? Commissioner Gisler.
Excuse me, John Gisler again. Just a quick question. Maybe Travis is going to cover it anyway. Is there any speculation about when the seasonal weight restrictions will be lifted?
Managing Director.
It's on my list, so.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll have an
that-
answer for you shortly. You bet. Any other public comments from anyone here in the building? Or online? Any comments from people online? Just raise your hand. Seeing none. Okay, Managing Director's time. Managing Director.
All right. I'm going to repeat myself one more time, but the County Road Association annual conference is March 24th through 26th. So coming up here later this month. And then also we do have a meeting on the 24th. So we'll have to coordinate that prior to going up there. Also, I want to mention April 7th, we have our joint meeting scheduled with Wsna Township. And that's immediately following our regularly scheduled meeting here at the Road Commission. April 17th, you may have seen just recently on your calendar, we have put a road tour with our commissioners. So Friday, April 17th, let me know if you're available for that here shortly, and we'll have to figure out if we have to post it as a meeting. Seasonal weight restrictions. So here's where we're at today. I'll just share a little bit with our neighbors first. Is MDOT took seasonal weight restrictions off from I-94 south as of the first of the week. Also, I know Cass and Branch County are off, and I believe St. Joe is going off shortly. So everything's kind of creeping north. We are just recognizing now that the frost is pretty much gone. We need a little bit of time to let the roads settle. So we definitely won't be taking them off this week. But we're looking to potentially take them off either sometime next week or at the end of next week. Again, trying to be collaborative and partner with area road commissions. So we are watching that very closely. And then the last thing I wanted to share, Ryan Minkus, our county engineer, is available to give us a quick update. If you recall, Discover Kalamazoo was here a few board meetings ago related to the Maple Hill Drive extension and their new sports complex. So Ryan's going to give us a quick update where we're at today, what's coming here in our near future. Ryan.
Thank you, Travis. Good afternoon, board. Bear with me. I'm recovering from something here. If I'm a little quieter than normal. A few meetings ago, Miss Jane Ghosh from Discover Kalamazoo came to the same spot and gave you guys an update, kind of the background on the project as it was moving forward. So as a quick reminder, the youth sports complex is looking at developing some property north of the current terminus of Maple Hill Drive. The property itself is in the city of Kalamazoo, but the road Maple Hill Drive to extend to that property will have to pass through Wakeshma Township. So it's a kind of unique situation involving multiple entities for approval. At that meeting, Ms. Ghosh had advised you that they were potentially coming before us for 2 exception requests for the Maple Hill Drive extension. I do want to let you know we've been working very diligently with their design team. We've eliminated that down to 1 exception request now. We are now currently working with the applicant to get letters of support from the development to the south and Wsna Township to help us meet that last exception request. And again, we're moving forward with their design team, anticipating at the next board meeting, we'll be able to bring that forward to you for you guys to be able to see the preliminary layout. So as a quick reminder, when new roads are constructed, during the plat process, there's specific requirements that have to be met. For the longest time here at the Road Commission, we have followed that same process, even if a new road is not being built through the plat process. So that being said, and during that plat process, the preliminary layout comes before the board for you guys to see it and approve it, then to allow staff to continue to work with the developer's design team to develop construction drawings and construct the road. So that is the point we'll be at here potentially at the next meeting. If we can receive these letters of support to help us move this forward. So we'll have more details in the coming weeks for you about the project, some more graphics and things to help present what is being proposed out here as well. But kind of wanted to give you the high level update. I know they were here and gave you an initial update, brought up the 2 exception requests. So we wanted to kind of mention we'd worked through one of them already to eliminate one of them. So if you got any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Again, hopefully here in 2 weeks, we'll be back before you to discuss this a little bit more.
Vice Chair.
If I recall, one of the exceptions, potential, not that it was even an exception, was they were looking at a need for some on-street parking for a while until that's getting worked through well. I'm pleased to hear there's partnership working through the design challenges and needs. Has parking been an issue, or that's not an issue?
That is the one exception that still remains. So
Okay.
the to your point, Commissioner Stahauer, the other exception requests, the other exception that was being considered to be presented to us was a mid-block pedestrian crossing. And that has been mitigated via other measures where it's no longer needed to be an exception request.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Managing Director.
All right, that's all I have unless there's questions for me.
Questions for the Managing Director, commissioners?
Managing
Commissioner
Director.
Davis.
Thank you. Managing Director. If my memory serves, you had a meeting in the last couple of weeks with the emergency response coordinator for the county. Is that correct?
In the last couple of weeks,
Was it that in your last weekly report? Or am I not remembering correctly? Which?
yeah, so the Office of Emergency Management. Yeah, there's some exercises that they go through. Actually, I did not attend that meeting.
Okay.
It actually was a virtual meeting, so I was not present.
All right. I saw that on your schedule.
I will share though, while we're on that subject though, with the recent tornadoes.
Yeah, that's kind of what brought it up.
Yeah. So emergency management did reach out shortly after the tornado touched down in Three Rivers. Was seeking some assistance from the road commission to move a hospital trailer full of supplies down to Three Rivers. They were unable to locate anybody that could pull that type of trailer. So we were working with them to try to get something coordinated. At the last minute, they found somebody very close because we'd had brought somebody into work at that point to send them out there. So I just wanted to share that because I mean we're always looking to partner and coordinate with others and assist in emergencies. So we did not assist, but we were ready to.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, comments from commissioners? Vice Chair?
Picking up on part of the emergency response, yeah, it's not the county. I know much help is needed when this occurred in Texas Township, Portage, and maybe carried into some other townships. But I wondered if we got called, so to speak, out of county to offer any assistance, especially temporary, getting trees on the roads.
So we weren't. I did offer it right during the conversation, but we weren't needed in any instance through that whole process in St. Joe County.
Would a request like that often come from the road commission of that county then, if they needed it?
No, typically probably go through emergency management, right? From the road commission to emergency management, and then back up to our agency.
All right, thank you.
And we have what's the word? Mutually
Mutual agreements with our neighboring counties, right?
Yep.
Where we can go assist them. Absolutely.
Yep. Very good. Any other questions for the managing director? Thank you, Managing Director.
You're welcome.
We're going to take us into commissioner time and committee reports. Commissioner Kennedy.
I do not have to report today.
Okay. Commissioner Davis.
I also have no report. Thank you.
Yep. Commissioner Thompson.
I have no report either.
All right. Vice Chair Stahauer.
I'll try to keep mine almost as brief. County parks met, ordinary business for the most part. I tune into trails some, so they have some, they're hoping to do some heavier maintenance on some of the trails this year. I was pleased to hear that. They're also looking forward to seeing another phase of Kalamazoo River Valley Trail get built out Galesburg, Augusta way. That involves road commission too, and we'll hear when appropriate.
highlighting anniversaries. We have all the way from 1 year up to, I turned the page here, 30 years if memory serves me right. So just thankful for our staff and the years of dedication, be it 1 year, 4 years, 3 years, 6, 26, and 30. So thank you very much. I plan to be at Wsna Township tonight. I didn't attend other township meetings the last 2 weeks, but I'll be over there. So if staff has anything they want to make me aware of, glad to have some input after our meeting today. Appreciate the road tours being scheduled. I believe I'm available. I'll double check, but those have been beneficial time to see the nuts and bolts in the field and grapple with some of the issues. So appreciate that opportunity. Otherwise, I think I'm set. So thank you all.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Couple of things on my radar. Just 2 weeks from today, we'll have our regular board meeting. Then right afterwards, we'll be heading to Lansing for our highway conference, as the managing director spoke about. We will have dinner planned that night, so bring a appetite. And then 4 weeks from now, we'll be having that joint meeting with Wsna, as the managing director said. Couple things on my calendar. I will be absent September 8th and will not be able to be at the board meeting. So I'm sure the vice chair will be able to, hopefully will be here and be able to handle that. My last thing I'll mention, well, 2 more things. First, I got to attend the Kalamazoo County Conservation District annual dinner. And I want to congratulate Commissioner Gisler for receiving an award at that dinner. And it was great dinner. Is the first time I've ever been to one, and I look forward to attending more in the future. So they did a great job. And then the last thing I'll mention, while we're up in Lansing, the Roads Plus PAC is accepting contributions. They ask that each road commissioner contribute $50 for annual dues. I strongly encourage you to do so. I did send my check for $100 a year about 2 weeks ago. So I strongly encourage everyone to please donate to the Roads Plus PAC up in Lansing if you haven't already. Seeing no further business, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
All right, I have a motion and support from Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.